all very much for inviting me to be here today. I would especially like to thank MEP Ilham Tohti for organizing this meeting to spotlight the case of my father, Professor Ilham Tohti. And I would like to thank the Unrepresented Nations and Peoples Organization, the Ilham Tohti Initiative, and ChinaChange.org very much for helping host this conference. It is a great honor for me to stand here addressing you about my father. A few weeks ago, I was thrilled to hear that my father had been nominated by the European Parliament for the Sakharov Prize for freedom of thought. Not only because the Sakharov Prize is such an important and renowned award, but also because the candidacy for the Sakharov Prize means more people from all around the world have come to know of my father and his beliefs. Many of you here already hear something about my father's work, its importance, and the great significance it carries for us, Uyghurs, and for others. But I don't think many of you know what kind of person my father is, what kind of man he is, and what kind of a father he is. Nor do many people know his character. I'd like to know that his principles and his actions, the very thing that led him to take up the path that he has followed, flow directly from his character. He's a very warm-hearted man. He would spend hours and days helping people he had never met before. He had been involved in saving homeless Uyghur children inside China. Let me give you an anecdote as an example. I remember a few years ago, while me and my father were taking a walk, we saw an old Uyghur woman standing alone looking helpless. My father went to ask her why she was standing there like that, and she told us she couldn't find her son. Without any hesitation, my father took her back to our apartment, served her a nice, warm Uyghur meal, gave her some money, and booked a hotel for her. He even sent students to ask around about her son. When the old woman was weeping because she couldn't find her son, redness also appeared in my father's eyes. My father is exactly the sort of person who takes another's adversity as his own. That is simply who he is. He's a very intelligent man of deep learning. He could always answer any question I posed to him. Most of his time would be spent reading books or typing articles. Many nights I woke up seeing the view of his back as he typed away on the computer, turning out articles. I would sometimes ask why he was doing this and why he didn't stop and spend more time playing with us. He would smile and tell me how important it was to work for others, to work for our people. He said I would understand this one day. And I did come to understand this. But this came through seeing the terrible price he was paying to stand up for the rights of his people and all people within the People's Republic of China. How he could sacrifice his own time to help other people who wrote to him, respond to articles writing by others. His students loved him, a fact that is well attested. Students from different universities would take buses to Minzu University to sit in on his class just to listen to him. He was very kind and generous to all of them too. During Uyghur holidays, he gave out money to students. It's Uyghur tradition that the elder people in one's family give out money to the younger people to spend during the holidays. My dad considered his students as his sons and daughters. Many of them were taking terrible sacrifices to come and study in Beijing and had left friends and family behind in Xinjiang. He shared clothing with students. He shared food with them. He shared money with them. And even more importantly, he shared his ideas, his thinking, and his research with them too. How could the Chinese state ever imagine it could silence him? In fact, a book of his writing is being published soon. My father is such an optimist. Whenever bad things happen, he would always joke about them and try to stop us from worrying. He would usually take all burdens on his shoulders. He would try to figure out solutions to problems on his own. In July of 2009, all of our family members were taken incommunicado to a hotel in a suburb of Beijing. We had no phones and no computers. I didn't know the meaning of house arrest because I was too young. So my father told me that this was just a trip, a relaxing trip. He said, "No one can bother us now. This is great. Let's enjoy our vacation." February 2nd, 2013 was the last day I saw my father face to face. As most of you know, we were dragged out of line at the Beijing airport as we waited to leave for the US. I was separated from him and allowed to leave. My father was strong, but I yelled up that they should have left him alone. I arrived in the US almost a day later with almost no English and knowing no one. Of course, as a father, he was worried about me. We used to Skype 3 times a day to make sure each of us was safe. I would ask him why he wasn't sleeping. Why was he still awake? He answered, "Because you are my sleeping pill." A person like my father, optimistic, warm-hearted, intelligent, and generous, has now been given a sentence of life imprisonment. He has lost 40 pounds, he was shackled for 20 days, and denied food for 10 days. Our family can only see him once every 3 months, despite the fact that other prisoners are visited by their families every month. His family members have to conceal their connection to him. Even my relatives in Xinjiang have had to erase me from their social media accounts. I didn't know what harm my father had caused to deserve to be treated like this. But I have learned very quickly the extreme of the Chinese state's intolerance. My father has never advocated violence. Even when he contests someone else's opinion, he uses logic and polite language. I'm very grateful to be his daughter. I feel absolutely fortunate that my father was nominated for this prize. I hope this nomination will cause people to understand what kind of person my father is, and I hope it will work against the Chinese government's intention of burying his hopes and erasing his name. When I was young, my father always protected me. Now, when I'm an adult, I can do no less for him. Please don't forget my father, Ilham Tohti. He will be free one day, and I know it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jewher. Concluding, again, thank you, Mr. Ilham Tohti, for hosting this important conference. Thanks to all assistants and everyone who contributed in organizing this important gathering. In any case, regardless of outcome, dear members of European Parliament, we need you always. Oppressed peoples around the world would ask for and appreciate your support. The human rights situation under the new President Xi Jinping is worsening, and as our elected representatives at the European Parliament, we want to rely on you always. Thank you, audience, for being with us today.